Wisconsin lawmakers want your kids to learn more about African American history in school. Today, Democrat State Representative Sheila Stubbs and State Senator Dora introduced the African American History Education Act. If passed, the bill would require the Department of Public Instruction, the Wisconsin Black Historical Society, the UW system, and other local organizations to create curriculum. Students K through 12 would be required to learn age-appropriate material about Black Americans.
African American history is not a side note or an isolated chapter. It is a core foundation of America's story.
Under this bill, teachers would also have to learn about African American history in order to become licensed in Wisconsin. The bill will need Republican support to pass.